in my area, Massachusetts. We were out of power here for 30 hours and I almost lost my damn mind. Anyway, topic at hand. I just did a really cool episode of No Way Jose with Jose Raymond. And the topic we discussed at length was, should we get rid of the 212 division? So you can hear Jose had much to say about that. He was obviously one of the founding fathers of the 212 division, one of its top stars. He won 12 contests, including the Arnold Classic. Top 5 at the Olympia many times, second place once. So Jose had a lot to say about it. Well informed, obviously, he's in a position to have a very informed opinion on the matter. But I also want to hear from you guys. You're the fans. You're the ones who buy the tickets, support these athletes on their social media, their YouTube channels, buy the merchandise, buy the pay-per-views. Some of you actually get out to contests and see these contests live in person, which I encourage you all to do, because you do not get the full impact from a computer monitor or from your phone. Trust me, it's very, very different in person, especially if you have good seats right up front. If you're sitting anywhere near where the judges are seeing these guys from, totally different perspective. You see things that for some reason you can't see on the pay-per-view or even in great high resolution images. It's different when you see the live bodies there moving, flexing in front of you. It's just different. Anyway, so the question is, do we need the 212 division? It came up because Sean Clarita just won an open show, and he beat out a couple enormous guys. Sergio Oliva was a full 100 pounds heavier. 100 pounds. Not 10 or 20 pounds. 100 pounds heavier than Sean. He was third place. Regan Grimes looked fantastic. Regan goes about 260. Again, Sean was at 175, 5'2", 175 pounds. And, when I came up, in the following the sport, started following it, there were no lightweight divisions, obviously. And I used to see guys like, the late Momo Benaziza. I was able to see him a couple times, 2 or 3 times. I saw him compete, beating much, much larger, heavier guys. Lee Priest for many years. Obviously, I saw him at many shows, defeat many larger guys. So it can be done, and the best 212 bodybuilders like Lunsford, like Clarita, they would obviously do very, very well in most open shows, especially these second, third tier shows that are not at the caliber of the Arnold Classic Olympia. So it begs the question: do we really need the 212? And Jose went into it, and of course he feels there should be, and I agree with him. But of course I had to be provocative and come up with a question. So I'm handing it over to you guys. I want to have a discussion here. So let's hear what you got to say so far. First comment comes to us from Mason. The only issue with me is that having all these classes caused the men's open to be more watered down, less top-end physiques. And then he adds, but I understand the reason for having them, just not my favorite. Well, it's not like we have a ton of 212 guys crossing over into open. At this Legion show, 2 out of the top 4 were 212 competitors who were just at the Olympia. We had, obviously, Sean, who's a former Olympia champ, and just took second place 2 weeks before at Lunsford. And then fourth place at the Legion was Tonio Burton, who had won the Indy Pro, his pro debut earlier this season. I was there. And Jose feels Tonio's probably gonna move to open from here on in. I definitely think he looks better in the open division, fuller. He's one of those guys who really, really struggles to make weight, to get down to 212. So for someone like that, makes sense. Lancupar Lindo. We need monstrous physiques in the open. The rest can go to 212 or classic. Well, how do you define monstrous? I mean, Hadi Choopan, would you not call that monstrous? No, he's not the tallest guy, but he's got so much thick, dense muscle. He's probably about 5'4". He might be 5'5". Let's give him 5'5". I think Hani Rambat, his coach, said he was about 223, 224 at the last Olympia. Hadi was a 212 competitor for a few years before moving on the open, and he was enormous as a 212. The best 212 guys, they are so thick and dense that size-wise, they can hang with these open guys, mostly open guys. They're just not tall. They're just not, they might be 5'2" or 5'4" or 5'5", standing next to somebody who's 5'11" or 6 foot, and yeah, you're going to get overshadowed in terms of sheer mass that this human being takes up. But these guys are packed. I mean, look, going back to Lee Priest. Lee Priest was one of the thickest, most densely muscled people ever, who's ever competed. you couldn't say he was ever outsized by these other guys. They were taller than him, but were they thicker? Did they have more muscle per square inch? No. Let's see, Mason again. I mean, Classic and 212 lead to less guys maxing out their physiques, which causes less competition for the Open. I think that's also a big issue as to why the 90s guys complain. Yeah, I'm one of those 90s guys. Well, obviously I wasn't a pro in the 90s, but that was the era where I really came up in the sport, where I was starting out in the industry from 91 on and went to all those shows in that era. And yeah, but I do tend to agree with you. And, Dorian, in an interview we did a few years, he said something very similar. He said, a lot of the great bodybuilding talent is now going toward Classic, obviously. A lot of it's going to men's physique. Some of these men's physique guys, if they wanted to be great bodybuilders, open bodybuilders, they could. They have the frame, they have the muscle bellies, they have everything, even legs. They just don't feel the need, or they don't want to put all that extra mass on that it would require for them to be a good open bodybuilder. But the genetics, I say this a lot of times, the genetics to be great in any division are pretty much the same. They're just bigger versions as you move up, more mass. And 212 is kind of weird because it's not like they have less mass, they're just shorter. So you have men's physique is a certain amount of muscle. Classic physique competitors have more muscle mass than a men's physique guy most of the time. Some of these men's physique guys are pretty damn jacked. Some of them are clearly juiced out of their skulls. But I digress. And then you have obviously 212 and open for the most muscular guys, the guys who have the most muscle mass. So we do have a lot of talent. Back in the old days, the talent was all going to one division because there was only one division. So we didn't have this issue where would have been a great bodybuilder, but he decided to go. No, there was no choices. There were no options back then. Okay. Alberto Montejo, say it. Still underestimate Clarita. I think he can win an Arnold Classic. I'd love to see him do it. I'd love to see, we talked about it. I don't think there is a rule that he has to choose between competing in the 212 Olympia or the Open next year. I don't think there's a rule. I've never seen like a rule book or a handbook or anything. So we might see him on both stages at the Olympia next year. How cool would that be? And yeah, I don't know if he could win an Arnold. It depends on who's in it. Could he beat, Nick Walker just won the Arnold. Could Clarita have beaten Nick Walker? I don't know. Nick Walker fans, I'm sure you'll say, hell no. Nick Walker fans, you are loyal. I love that about you guys. You support your favorite guy, and that's how fans should be. Just like, if you're a Red Sox fan or a Yankees fan or whatever, you support your team. Let's see. A gentleman whose name is in Cyrillic letters from Russia, I'm assuming, or one of the former Soviet republics. Regan also deserved to win, but Sean was the most conditioned guy on the stage for sure. Yeah, a lot of times when it's someone's second place, it's not that they didn't deserve to win. I mean, a lot of times you could go either way. You could choose, well, this guy was better conditioned, but this guy had this or that. Sometimes it's so close, you could flip a coin and nobody would be overly upset if one guy beat the other guy, put it that way. So yeah, if Regan had won, I don't think there would have been a riot in that theater or anything like that. I don't think. Regan looked great, and Regan's going to get so much better. And I'm a friend of Milos, so of course I'm going to attribute a lot of it to Milos because Regan's been kind of stagnant for a couple of years. I haven't seen him change much, and I think he's going to change now. He's going to get a little bit bigger, rounder, fuller looking, and I think he's going to start winning better shows. So Powerlifter Light says, why not a height class? Open and then like 5'7" and under. Yeah, I think, the Olympia in years past, I think they experimented. They did a short and tall class at one point. I think they did an over and under 200 class at one point. This is like back in the 70s. They were trying different things. The height classes could work. But I don't think it would be too different. I still think you'd have basically like the same people in the 212, or it would be close. Most of the people who, let's say you put it 5'7" and under and 5'8" and over, those would be the two divisions. I think a lot of the guys who are 5'7" under would be 212 pounds or lighter. A lot of them would be. There would obviously be some guys who are much bigger and heavier, but yeah, that is a way to do it. I mean, that's how, so before the NPC, there was AAU. That was the top amateur bodybuilding organization in the United States for decades and decades. Their title, the Mr. America, was the title everybody wanted to win for many, many years, for probably like 40, 50, long time. And they did it by height class. So it would be short, they had short, medium, and tall class. And even when I started out in a natural organization called the ANBC, I started competing in 1989, it was height classes. There was no, you never got weighed in. They did check your height. And I was always in the medium class. I was 5'8" at the time. Yeah, that used to be medium. Now that's short because, you know, Americans are on the average 6'5" to 6'8" now. They're getting taller and taller, these Americans. Let's see. Mason. Wait. Navneet Muhadkar says, Katam Hogai. Mason says, think about it. If all the classes were dropped and everyone's forced to compete in open, the competition would be crazy, but I'm biased because I prefer open much more. Yeah, I do think a lot of guys would get left behind or lost in the shuffle, like Jose and I were talking about. I think a lot of the guys who turn pro in the lighter classes, like lightweights, middleweights, I think they'd get totally abandoned. They wouldn't get a look at all if they jumped on an open stage with these guys. It's the very, very best 212 guys who have a chance. So we got to keep it for now. They should let Sean, Aaron Williams says they should let Sean do both. It's good for bodybuilding. Totally agree. I think everybody would be so excited. It would help ticket sales. They sell out anyway. It would help pay-per-view sales. It would just get a lot more buzz going. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Lunsford do both too. But he has to qualify. He's not qualified for the Open Olympia right now. Let's see. Pejman Moman says, Regan hamstring not popping. Yeah, he needs more hams. Shah A, good question. Merging the two divisions, 212 Open, would improve the quality in Open, at least if the former 212 was still coming peeled. I wonder if they didn't have a weight cap. You know, Clarita's an exception because he never had to get down to a weight anyway. He was never anywhere near 212. He just won at 175 pounds. So for him, it's not an issue. But I think a lot of these guys who really have to struggle to get to 212, that's why they come in so shredded. And if they had no weight cap, a lot of them would just say, well, I'm going to come in as big and full as possible. And they would not have that level of conditioning. Let's see. Simon Ritchie, if you hold an IFBB card, you should be able to compete in any division at any time. Jump off 212 stage, hit the Open the same day. Why not? Well, now you're saying any division, so that you got to include all the divisions. You're including men's physique, classic. Maybe you're just talking about those two divisions. But, you know, I'm not arguing with you. Gabriel Ruiz Fajes, I think we should keep 212 because every 212 can go to open shows. They can choose which division they do and which one they can be more competitive. No need to remove a division for that. Yeah, I'm really not proposing we get rid of the division. I would never do that. Are you crazy? I love the 212 division. A lot of times at the shows I've been to, so a lot of times the 212 division is more exciting, more competitive than the open in a lot of the pro shows I go to. Not all of them, but a good amount. You'd be surprised. And you know, a 212 pro, he can enter any open show he wants. It's not like he's limited to 212. Most of them just choose to go into the 212 because they have a better chance of doing well or winning. But anyone who has a pro card, I'm pretty sure if you have a pro card, you can do any men's division you wanted to, that you can fit into. Obviously, for Classic, they'd have to make the weight cap for their height. So if an open guy wanted to do Classic, he'd probably have to lose a lot of muscle to do it. And a 212 guy, anyone who wants to go into 212 has to be 212 or under. But, you know, anybody could go men's physique, I think, and anybody could go open if they really wanted to. Mason, less classes, much more competitive lineups in Olympia. Prize money would increase a ton. Shorter shows, much more judging comparisons, more entertainment. I'm with you, dude. I came up in an era when there was just men's bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding. The shows were a lot shorter. You could focus on men's bodybuilding, women's division, two divisions. That's all you had to think about. I liked it that way, but I'm being selfish because, you know, I respect all the divisions. It does get kind of tedious sitting through. We have 11 divisions now, 11 divisions. I think they're going to add one just to make it 12. Let's see. King Gray David, I'm still waiting to see Flex Lewis and Hottie side by side at the O. I wonder if we're ever going to see that. I think we'll see that. I think we'll see it next year, 2022. I think Flex will be back 2022. I really do. Let's see. Michael Edwards from the MD Forums, musculardevelopment.com, no bull. Keep the 212 division. Matt, no 212 class. Not everyone can have a trophy. Sean deserved his win on merit. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put it that way. The 212 division isn't any lesser. It's not like it's like a handicap division or something like that. Don't be ridiculous. It's not like everyone's getting a trophy. These people have all earned their right to be on a professional stage. But yeah, I mean, the best 212 guys, all of them could do well in second and third tier pro shows. Most of these top 212 guys could win shows like that because they're going to bring the condition and they have everything. They have balanced physiques, great shape, great structure, plenty of mass. It's a total package that the judges are looking for. So let's see. Larko Parlindo, C-Bomb, Derek, Big Rami should do pose for pose at the Indy Olympia just for fun. Would be cool if we see all the champs together. Oh, that'd be awesome. Who wouldn't love that? The crowd would go ape shit for that. It wouldn't count for anything. It's not like we're going to have an overall champion. We've already got Olympia champions. But yeah, that would be. I'm for anything that's like outrageous like that. I think it would just make the show more fun. Obviously, it would add time to the show, so they need to cut time from something. The Olympia, man, the judging at the Olympia Friday night went to like midnight. It was nuts. I was like, dude, is this ever going to end? Income Mobile. Why not have a calves only division? This way, people with frozen shoulders have an opportunity to compete in something. Thanks. Frozen shoulders. What's a frozen shoulder? Does that mean like oil in the shoulder or something? Someone said like my delts were suspicious. I do not put, I don't use any site enhancement oil. Never have. Don't believe in it. Do I do gear shots in my shoulders sometimes? Sure I do. So if you ever see like a lump or something, that's a shot. That's some inflammation. See me a couple days later, it's gone. Anyway, if I was ever going to put oil somewhere, it would go right here. Trust me, my crappy triceps. Let's see. Dane Christensen, I think height classes would be best. 5'6" and under, 5'7", 5'10", and over 5'11". Yeah, that's very, very similar to what I was talking about the AAU in the olden. They used to do short, medium, and tall classes, and a lot of natural federations over the years have instituted the same thing. Yeah, I mean, that way you're not ever standing next to someone who's dramatically shorter or taller than you, if that matters. But you still would see a great variation in weights. You might have, 6 guys on the stage that are all 5'9". One of them might be 205 pounds, and one of them might be 260 pounds or 70 pounds. So, I don't know if that would work either. Oh, Dane continues. Then after the heights get their respective winner, there's one overall champ from the height classes. Yeah, that's how they always did it. It'd be like a, short class winner, medium class winner, tall class winner, and overall champion. Just like weight classes. You always have to have an overall. Open with no weight limit. Yeah, if it's a height class, it's just your height. So you could be any weight at all, as long as you're the correct height. Joshua S., they should have a natural division at the Olympia. No, absolutely not. First of all, how are you gonna enforce that? Anytime there's testing, people are gonna find a way to beat the test or look for ways to beat the test. I mean, do you want to see natural guys on the Olympia stage? I don't. And I'm a former natural competitor myself. I competed probably in about 12 or 15 natural shows in the earlier stages of my career. But I don't want to see natural guys on the Olympia stage because that's going to point out the disparity, how different they look from the guys who are enhanced. And that's just going to call more attention to the fact that the enhanced guys are on chemicals. So I don't think that's a good idea. Personally, that's just me. Income Mobile again. Frozen shoulders means you can't move them without great pain. Both shoulders shot. Yeah, that's this one. This one. Want to see my range of motion? Sure you do. I'm sure you do, right? So this is my external range of motion. Am I perfectly? That's as far back as that arm goes. I'm sure a lot of you guys can get that sucker way the hell back there. This arm, a little bit better. Not much. Yeah, guys, take care of your shoulders. Do your rotator cuffs, do your exercise, do your stretching, do all that, because once your shoulders are gone, man, training is just not as fun anymore. It's not. Let's see, frozen shoulders. Thanks for that explanation, Income Mobile. My sugar daddy's controlling me. Possibly the best name of any person we have commenting on these live videos. My shoulders look like hotties when I shoot Test Prop. Yeah, I've never, I think I used, okay, I did. I used Test Prop years ago. I had one bottle and I said, this stuff sucks. It feels like acid as you inject it. It feels like acid burning through your body. No, I hate that shit. Yeah. And they cause a great deal of inflammation. So they're going to be red and swollen, which if you're going to wear a tank top, everyone's going to know you just pinned your delt. Alberto Montejo. Momo Benaziza, 1990, Night of Champions over Yates. Yep, 1992, second place Arnold Classic behind Vince Taylor. Yeah, Momo was no joke. He was about 5'2", about 205 pounds. The Algerian Atlas, they called him. Look, if you don't know what he looked like, go to Google Images and type in Momo, M-O-M-O, Benaziza, B-E-N-A-Z-I-Z-A. Dude, he was a freak. He was a freak, and he beat much, much bigger guys, taller, heavier guys, all the time. Died too young. Incomobile, my shoulder glued to my sides. Yeah, wow. What, like this? That would suck, dude. R.I.P. George Peterson? Where did that just come in? Why can't I see that? I just saw a long comment that I just saw it coming in my phone. Oh, there it is. Punisher for kill, R.I.P. George Peterson. Not trying to put everyone down, but since we were talking about 212, I just wonder how he'd place in Olympia, though. I would have had him top 2, you know. I don't know what he was looking like. Yeah, Derek looked phenomenal. Sean Clarita looked phenomenal. Kamal looked really good, obviously. I don't know where George would have done. You know, I did get a chance very briefly to talk to his coach, Justin Miller. Justin was very, very certain that he would have won. You know, obviously a coach is probably usually a little biased toward his own client, but if he looked significantly fuller in the legs and the arms than he did the year before, who knows, man? Who knows? We'll never know. Stephen Coran just joined. I think it's fair to say that 11 divisions is too many. We saw that at the Olympia, waiting till 11 for men's open and beyond. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to get rid of any divisions. I just hope they don't add any more. I mean, wellness. What else do we need? We have like everything. What else do you need? You already have a division for guys who don't want to get too big and want to keep the little waist and they wear board shorts. You have classic for people who want it, or more about the aesthetics. You have 212 and open. This is all just the men. The women, man, they have so many women's divisions. It's fitness, bikini, figure, women's physique, women's bodybuilding, wellness. Did I miss one? I might have even missed one. There's so many. It's hard to keep track. Income Mobile. Are you familiar with the now defunct Mr. DC contest? I saw it back in 1980. Mr. DC, like Washington, D.C.? No, I don't know. No, I mean, 1980 was a little before my time. Yeah, 1980, I was 10 years old until September, then I turned 11, so I was a little too young. I'm 52 now. Man, time flies. I like that idea. Jazza 27. Hey, Ron, judges have made open class a joke after giving title to Sean instead of Regan. It's a matter of opinion, guys. It's all a matter of opinion. I mean, I didn't hear a lot of people booing when Sean won. I mean, if most people in the audience felt it was a poor decision, I'm sure they would have been vocal and let the judges know that they weren't too happy with it. Yeah, I mean, I know, guys, you have your favorites, and you know, you guys get very invested in the results of a show. I don't, because I go to so many shows and I know all the athletes, and I don't get too upset. And I know, you know, everyone's going to get their chance again. Regan will get another. Regan's going to Egypt this weekend. He'll probably win that show. He's going to Romania, which he won last year. He might win that again. I mean, don't worry about Regan. Regan's going to do fine. Let's see. Dane Christensen says, add a men's wellness, and he's got a bunch of like laughing emojis. I always make these jokey. If you don't follow me on Instagram, what the hell's wrong with you? It's Ron Harris Muscle. I often joke about that because my legs have always been much more dominant size-wise than my upper body. Glutes, hams, calves, quads, they're all big on me, but upper body, I have some areas, namely my arms, but you know, I've been bottom heavy my whole life. So yeah, men's wellness. I've joked about me. Maybe I could be the first men's wellness pro, but time's ticking, guys. I'm getting too old. Stephen Coran, I would absorb 212 in open and create a women's class between figure and physique and remove those two. We don't need another women's class, dude. No. We're good. What the hell are you going to call that class? Wait, so between figure and physique, it's kind of like what wellness is. It's just that they have bigger legs, but I don't know. SLs, how do you keep your skin so healthy and not wrinkled, Ron? Well, I moisturize. I use this Nivea thing called Age Fighter. So I guess it's fighting age pretty well. I'll show you. I do have wrinkles. When I smile, you see them all. Look at that. So that's why I don't smile too much. When I smile, I don't smile. I don't smile because I have crappy teeth too. But they're not like big, square Hollywood teeth. Andrew Reese, did you see the videos of Cedric posing? He doesn't look as bad as his placing. He didn't look horrible, but I saw that. I just looked at the pictures on NBC News from the Legion show. He was not in shape. He looked like he needed another few weeks, 3-4 weeks. He's doing Egypt. He'll probably do Romania. He'll get better and better as the shows go on. And probably by Romania, he'll be where he needs to be. But no, he wasn't that conditioned. I've seen him much better, put it that way. And, I love Cedric's physique. But when you're off, you just can't expect to do well. You have to be in shape, guys. You just have to. Judges will not reward you. Yeah, we've seen guys who are much more conditioned lose to guys who weren't, but those guys usually had gone out in California. Because the lighting was done by Mike Neville, who was co-owner and chief photographer for Iron Man magazine. Oh, why is that damn video froze? And Mike lit that show like he lit the magazine photos. It was crazy. Everybody looked phenomenal. People love to do that show a lot of times just for the lighting. Geez, I'm looking at my phone, then I'm looking at the screen, and why does it look so blurry on the computer screen? Huh. It looks great on my phone, I'm telling you right now. It's just an iPhone, but still. So, I have no if you guys are going to bitch about how the video quality, I don't know why it looks that bad. Because I'm looking right at my phone, it looks great. Anyway. Let's see. Since you met both Benazizi and Clarita, who had the best condition? I'd say they're equal. Benazizi got into crazy condition. SL, do Masters, Ron, you'll win. Depends on who shows up. You can never say somebody's going to win. Unless you're like unless you look like Phil Heath in 2011, I'm sorry, it was his first win. He looked great in 2010 too. It depends on who shows up. Maybe I would win, maybe I wouldn't. It all comes down to, put it this way. 2013, my last show, I did Masters Nationals in my class. It was over 40 heavyweights, so it was 31 of us. I was 14th out of 31. Terrible. That's my worst placing out of 30 shows I did. And I was in great shape. I had striated glutes, but I wasn't big enough. I think it was the same year, the USA Championships, like a week later, only had 10 heavyweights, I think, 10 or 11. Means I would have placed better at the Open NPC USA that year in the heavyweights, just because there weren't that many heavyweights, than I did at the Masters, which goes to show you that, why does this look so blurry? Jesus. I don't mean to take the Lord's name in vain, but come on. Yeah, it all depends on who shows up. You never know. I mean, I could do the Masters, maybe there'd be like 5 guys in my class, or there could be like 1,005. Wouldn't that be something? Wow, why does it look so crappy? I swear, guys. Can I show you on the phone? Should I show you? No, then you won't be able to see me. Just take my word for it. It's crystal clear on my phone, which is streaming live onto this right now. Mom Bennett, wrong for the Masters along with Dave Palumbo. No, I wouldn't beat Dave Palumbo. Dave could get back on all the good stuff, and he'd be like 300 pounds ripped in a week. He was a tremendous gear sponsor. Ugly physique, definitely ugly structure, but so much muscle and got into great condition. Yeah, I wouldn't be beating Dave. No, I'm not delusional. I know what I look like, guys. Stephen Correa, well, that would be adding 1 female division between figure and physique and removing 2, figure and physique. So, you want to get rid of figure and physique and add the 1. So we'll be reducing divisions by 1, which I think would be good. Yeah. You froze for a second? Yeah, I mean, my Wi-Fi should be good. We did have a power outage, but everything should be fine again at this point. Yeah, why is it so blurry on the screen? This is really bothering me. If you could see what I'm seeing in the phone, it's like you could see every damn pore in my face, every nose hair. But I'm looking at this and it's blurry as shit. Let's see. Zachary Martin, I'd rather see 212 versus Open versus Classic winners Olympia be compared like they used to do in the 80s, I think it was, and let those top 3 fight out for the title of Mr. Olympia. Well, then only one of them gets to be the Olympia champ? No, that's not cool. I mean, they all deserve to be the Olympia champion, and you're not going to have an overall Olympia champion between those 3. It's interesting, but no, I wouldn't go for that one. Jason Clark, 212 is good. You actually get to see people who come in shape. Yeah, I said that. Because most of them do struggle to get down to that weight, it forces them to get shredded. Whereas if when people have no limit to their weight, sometimes they really just decide that I'm going to come in bigger and heavier. Or they see a certain number on the scale and they stop dieting. Like, I didn't want to be any lighter than 240, so that's it. I'm done. I'm not getting any leaner than this. I got to be 240. And that's called third call out right there. Let's see. Dane Christensen, how do you feel about Sean's comments about adding size during the offseason? Matt Jansen doesn't think Sean is maxed out yet. No, I think he could put on a couple more pounds. He's put on a few pounds consistently every year, and every time people say he's maxed out, he comes back with a couple new pounds of muscle. So he must not be that maxed out. I think he's got a little more room to grow. Not a whole lot. Like, he's 175 at the Legion show. I don't think he could be 200 on stage without looking like a block. You know, his gut would start getting big and everything. Let's see. Alice, why Phil Heath kept on gaining weight? Because he used to look flawless and perfect back in 2011. No need for size. It's very, very common. Ronnie Coleman's a good example. A lot of people believe Ronnie Coleman looked his best at the first two Olympias that he won, 98, 99, and also the Arnold Classic in, was it 2000? 2001. 2001 Arnold that he won. He was like 247. He was under 250 for all those. And, you know, later he came in as heavy as 296. Was the heaviest he ever was on Olympia stage. His two heaviest weights were 287 and then 296. I preferred Ronnie's physique much more at the lighter weight. Waist was so much more streamlined. He had a better taper, more detail, just better conditioning. I liked him a lot better. I thought he was damn near perfect the first couple Olympias he won and that Arnold. As he got bigger and bigger, his stomach started to get a little distended. He started to lose a little bit of muscle separation. It just wasn't the same muscle quality that he had when he was lighter. Let's see. Sergio Enrique needs to move to 212. No, dude. Sergio's like 280. He can't get down to 212. We see you crystal clear? Okay, good, because I'm looking at it on my monitor. Man, this thing looks shitty. Why don't I do the F5 thing and reload it? Then I might lose some of your comments. Dang it. Let's see what happens when I reload. Oh, okay. That worked. All right, well, thanks for clearing that up. Income Mobile, who would you say the voice of bodybuilding is? I like the Mr. Olympia MC. He's got the perfect tenure for that sort of thing. Sport needs a Keith Jackson to bring more entertainment. Yeah, Bob Ciccarello does a great job. Great job. Every time I hear his voice, I'm like, okay, the show's about to start. It's just like I feel like it's just a nostalgia or a deja vu thing. I don't know, but another guy who's really, really good is he Irish or Welsh? Billy Garnon. Billy Garnon is starting to host a lot more shows, especially more into the international shows. Fantastic job. He's very good. I haven't seen him in person yet. I'm still waiting. But Billy Garnon, very, very good MC. Bob Ciccarello he's a vet. He could MC these shows, you know, blindfolded at this point if he had to. All good. Women on Thursday, men's whatever on Friday, men's open at 2:12 on Saturday. The show is too long. Well, now you get it over 3 days. I don't want to be there 3 days and nights. Good Lord. But yeah, these shows are very long. The Olympia, Friday. So judging started at like 9 in the morning, didn't end until like 3 in the afternoon. Then we came back Friday night, had finals for all those divisions, and then judging for the Mr. Olympia. It ended up being, I think I tallied it up. It was like 11 or 12 hours altogether in one day, and then they did it all again on the second day. It's a lot. Jason Clark, I don't understand why people that have a tough time getting down to 212 just don't just do open anywhere. Do you think it would make them come in sloppy? I think they feel they don't have enough size to be competitive in the open. So if they have trouble getting to 212, and maybe they'd be better off at 220, but or 225, but a lot of them feel that still wouldn't be competitive enough standing next to these guys who are 250, 270, whatever. The ones I've talked to, that's sort of the vibe I get from them. King Gray David, Lee Priest and Prime would have smashed the 212. Yeah, I mean, no argument. Sean Ray and Lee Priest, they both would have been dominant if they were around now in the 212. Income Mobile, I like this channel. I'm a new sub. Thank you. Guys, also, I got to remind you again, if you're subscribed to the channel, please hit that notification bell and hit always so you're always notified, not just occasionally, because I want your views. I want those views. Give me those views, guys. All right. Jason Clark says, I think Lee said he would likely still have done open. Yeah, why wouldn't he? He always did well in the open. He was top 5 in the Olympia a few times against, you know, guys like Nasser, Ronnie, Dorian. I mean, he was damn good. Greg Ulisse, my man, Gregory. Always love talking to Gregory at the shows. It's a good question. Bodybuilding changed so much over the last 5 years. During the Phil Heath era, Ronnie era, and Jay's, we needed the 212 because the guys in open were so big. Now the guys are not as big. Yeah, we don't have a lot of really big mass monsters, a lot of tall. You know, we used to have like Marcus Rule and Nasser and Ronnie and Jay. We don't have a lot of huge guys anymore at the Olympia. Think about it. Top 5, the only really massive tall guy was Rami, right? Yeah. So, yeah. People were saying the physiques are getting bigger and bigger. I don't think we have that many mass monsters anymore like we used to. SLS, Rami 2014 used to have a lot of lines on front quads. Now they're gone, but bigger. What are you thinking about? Well, Nick Trigilli, what's up, Nick? Nick just did a video. He thinks he's been sighting injecting his quads. I only disagree with that theory because why would he? They were already what I consider too big. I think Rami's quads were too big. They were distracting. They were so big. I couldn't say Rami's not going to listen to me, but I said he should probably stop training them for a while or just go easy on him. Let his upper body fill out a little bit more just so it's not, those quads are like ridiculous. So I don't think he's got to roll his quads. Maybe he does. I don't know, but I don't think so. All good. I could fly in on Saturday for the men's show. Skip things I don't need to say. Well, you're going to go all the way to Orlando or Vegas for one day? Come on, guy. Gregory Elise, could you have imagined Sean during the Nasser, Dillette, Levroni, Fuchs, and Rule days? Yeah, I mean, that literally was the age of the monsters. It was nuts. It was like the Jurassic era of bodybuilders. Inca Mobile, the MC is a huge unspoken part of any show. I think they could bring much attention to the sport by holding a casting call to look for talent to develop part. The thing is to be an MC at a show like this, you really have to have a certain depth of knowledge and familiarity with the sport and with the competitors, because a lot of times they have to fill time, or they have to be very spontaneous and fill in gaps in the shows and things like that. Or when things go wrong, they have to sort of like reset. You can't just have anybody. You can't just have anyone has a great voice jump in and be a bodybuilding MC at a pro show. I've seen it years ago at like NPC shows where they, local ones, where they try to bring in someone who was like a local DJ or something on a radio station, and it was embarrassing because they were just ignorant. They try to make jokes and stuff, and nobody was laughing because they were so unfamiliar with bodybuilding and the way the shows work. It was cringy. I'm gonna go soon, guys. Stephen Cran, if there were 3 things you would change about bodybuilding, what would they be? Oh my God. Mine would be lighting, backdrop, commentators, live stream quality, number of divisions. Number of divisions. Yeah, I would cut back on that, obviously. The lighting. I think most shows do a pretty good job with the lighting in the backdrop. I don't know. Most of my changes would involve a time machine, so they're not feasible. Sean C., can you stack DNP and Clen? I hate DNP. I hate the idea of DNP. Anything where you can die by taking the slightly too much of it, stay the F away from DNP. That's my feeling. I'm not a chemical guru at all, but I do know I would never mess with DNP. I competed for many years. I got in great condition. I used Clen. A couple times I used T3. I never used DNP. I knew of it toward the end of my competitive days, but I was like, nope, I don't need that shit. Nobody needs DNP. Nobody. It's don't get mad. I consider it something for lazy people that don't want to do more cardio. They still want their cheat meals, so they're going to take this crap to compensate for it. No, F DNP. F you DNP if you're listening. DNP, I know you watch my videos. ES, do you think top open bodybuilders like Chupan or Bonac would compete 212 Olympia if prize money was increased? It would have to be the same prize money, I think. But I think they want that Olympia title, the Mr. Olympia title at this point. It's a more prestigious title. It's the most prestigious title in our sport. If you can be competitive at the Mr. Olympia rather than 212, if you have a chance to win it, why wouldn't you do that? That's what I would do in their position. Alex Brookner, I've just joined the chat, but I wouldn't mind seeing Sean Clarito win the Olympia. I think he's good enough. I'm big fan of Sean. I think he's a cool dude, but I don't think he's winning the Open Olympia. No, he's not. I don't see him at that level. I don't see him beating like Rami and Hadi and Brandon. I think he could be top 10 for sure. Top 6 possibly. 5 at the highest. I don't see him winning just because he does have a little bit of a narrow structure. The Olympias, that's the toughest bodybuilding show on the planet. So when I say I don't think somebody can win it, I'm not putting them down. It's very tough to win. Only, was it 15? What are they up to? 15 or 16 men since 1965 have won that show. Think about that for a minute. On a planet of, we got 8 billion people now? 1,000 billion? We got a lot of people now. Oh, man. Frank the Tank. It should be like years ago at the Mr. Olympia, winner under 212 and over 212 pounds, and then overall. Yeah, that's like if you see the movie Pumping Iron, I hope you have. If you haven't seen Pumping Iron, what's wrong with you? At the end of the 1975 Mr. Olympia in Pretoria, South Africa, Franco, who was I can't remember, it was a short, did they have short and tall or over and over 200? Whatever. They had Franco Colombo and Arnold posed down for the overall Olympia title, and Arnold won. And yeah, that was exciting. Elena Serrano, have you ever heard the reason why they don't allow one competitor to do more than one category at the Olympia? I don't know if they don't let them or if that's the choice of competitors. I don't know if that's true, if there's a rule. Maybe I should know. Maybe I need to find out. But I don't think there's a rule that says they can't. I don't think there is. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody actually knows and anybody can like show me a link to some actual statement from, Jim Mannion or something, I'd be curious to see it. I wonder if there is a rule. I don't think there is. I think they can do more than one. Marvin, you're looking massive recently, Ron on Instagram. So that's actually me posting as Marvin. No, thank you, Marvin. So that's Ron Harris Muscle. Follow me on Instagram. I only have like 22,000 followers. It's so pathetic. I mean, I see very average looking girls who have like, 200,000. Sorry, average looking girls. I hope you're not offended. Usually they show their butts. And of course, I like to look at butts. So I'm part of the problem. Gregory Lease, you know what? I think there should be a plus a, what does that say? Classic division, like in quotes, in the women. In WP, they could go with height and weight like the men. I mean, women's physique is kind of like the classic physique version of the open bodybuilding Ms. Olympia, kind of open women's bodybuilding. They don't have a limit, but you don't see any women in women's physique that are that massive. If they are, they go to women's bodybuilding. So I don't see a need for that. Basel, you feel happy and amazed when we see the muscular formation of Big Ramy, which is a very beautiful feeling. We may lose him if things go as they did in the last tournament when Clarpito won. I mean, we may lose him. What does he mean by that? Honestly, I feel the sport bodybuilding was killed then. Oh, okay, so you're upset that Clarita won over Sergio and Regan. Well, Regan was second, so Regan and Sergio. That's an anomaly. You're not going to see 212 guys going and winning a bunch of open shows. It's just not going to happen. There's not that many of them very few of them that are capable of it. Lunsford has won. Sean has won. I think Lunsford could win most open shows that I've been to. He's that good. But you're not going to see too much of that. And Ramy is in no threat of being beaten by any of these 212 guys. No, don't worry about that. Ramy's got the title for now. I don't see anybody beating Ramy anytime soon. All good. Recent video, Big Ramy looks bigger than the Olympia, more ripped. His chest is 6 inches thick. Yeah, he's a giant human being. He's giant. He's Big Ramy. He was 300 freaking pounds at the Olympia. 300 pounds on stage, and he's not even 6 foot. I want to say like 5'10", maybe 5'11". Yeah, I mean, when your name is big, his name is Mamdo Elsbie. Frank the Tank, and naturally I always compete in height classes, so the winner, open, short class, medium, tall, all compete for the overall. I believe it's fair. Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing. Natural shows, it was always class winners. Gregory Elise, Ron, can you explain to me why do people always go back to the 70s as example for classic? Flex, Sean, Kevin were pretty classic to me. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, 70s, 80s, and 90s, you had guys in all those. Geez, Francis Benfatto, who was late 80s into the early 90s. That's one of the most classic physiques I've ever seen. My God, Francis Benfatto, if you don't know what that guy looked like. Good Lord. Bob Paris in the 80s. Even Lee Haney. Well, Lee Haney was a little too big for it, but you know what I'm saying. Rory Liedelmeyer, who never turned pro, unfortunately. But man, what a classic physique he had. He was a very top national level guy for years in the 80s. Yeah, there were many great classic physiques. I don't know why they always go back to the 70s. I think it's just a nostalgia thing, honestly. And probably because of the movie Pumping Iron. And he did have guys like, Frank Zane was more toward the end of the 70s, but you had like Serge Dubray, Ed Corney, drawing a blank here. Yeah, there were Arnold had a classic look to him. Income Mobile, how come today's competitors don't make better use of the sun before a contest to get a tan? 2 or 3 hours of sunshine draws out a lot of excess water naturally, makes you look better. Yeah, but there's always a risk of getting a sunburn, then you retain water. You actually, from tanning, you do retain a little fluid. I know it doesn't seem like it because you see the veins coming to the surface. You think you're leaner, but you actually do retain a little water, a little inflammation from actual sun. Plus, skin cancer, guys. No, I always got a good base tan. I tan a lot, probably too much. Knock on wood, I haven't gotten skin cancer. Hopefully I don't, but you really shouldn't be out there baking in the sun for hours and hours. It's not that safe. Alex Brockton, Ron, what do you make of Rami's lower back? He used to have an okay lower back, but there's no Xmas tree to speak of now. What the hell happened? I don't know. I mean, Rami used to have a little more lines on his quads too. Certain areas, I hate to say he's regressing, but I saw things before in terms of detail that I don't see anymore. Maybe he's coming in too big. If he came in at like 280, just dry, maybe he'd show a lot more of these lines, but he comes in really big and full. I don't know. I don't know the answer. That's for him and Chad to figure out. Hector Mendoza. Of course we do 212 division. I know, Hector. I'm just being provocative. I'm just clickbait. If I don't have a good question, no one's going to click on it. So I need clicks. Click. Hector Mendoza, awesome photographer, awesome videographer, cool ass dude. Just had a birthday. Wish him a happy birthday, everybody. It was like a week ago, right? Greg Elise, thank you for answering. Because my God, can you imagine 1993 Flex Wheeler? Oh, dude. He would have been too heavy, obviously, but man, yeah. Flex Wheeler 93, oof. Very damn near perfect. Very damn near perfect. I was lucky enough to see him. I didn't go to that Arnold, but I was at the Ironman where he made his pro debut the week before, and I was at that Olympia in 93 when he took second at Dorian, his first Olympia. Dude, Flex was freaking great back then. Dude. Basale, honestly, when Sean won the last championship, it felt like bodybuilding was killed off. Yeah, you said that. Don't worry. It's not going to happen all the time. It's not. Rami. What are you saying? Hector says, Rami's conditioning is softened because of his size. Yeah. He's not going to listen to me, obviously, but if he came in lighter, I bet he'd have a lot better condition. I bet he would. And we'd see more detail. He's got so much size and the little waist and everything, I mean, I would love to see so much more detail on that guy. What can Phil Heath do against the version Big? Phil Heath at his best, I believe, would easily beat Big Rami. Phil Heath before he got the hernias and all that. Phil Heath at his first, the last Olympia where Jay beat him, 2010, and his first Olympia win, Rami couldn't F with that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. No way. And Ronnie Coleman at his best, none of these guys right now could have. None of them, not even Phil. He would have beat them all. His birthday was Sunday. Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños, mi amigo. Hector helps me brush up on my Spanish. I'm married to a Cuban, but we don't speak Spanish at home. Kevin 21, Chad said Rami didn't train for 7 months. Yeah, I heard that. So hopefully he trains for a full 12 months and, we'll see what happens. Income Mobile, will there be a Masters video at the Olympia one day? What about a Super Masters for guys over? Nobody wants to see guys over 70 Olympia stage. I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say that, but the fans that go to the Olympia, they don't want to see guys over 70 on the stage. It's a lot of loose skin and torn muscles. Father time, man. What do you expect? Nobody looks as good at 70 as they did if they've been training their whole life. Maybe if a 67-year-old just started training, he looks better than he did when he was 20, but no. Father time wins. Deca with T2. What the hell is T2? I don't even know what I know T3 and T4. What the F is T2? I don't know, dude. Hector, you just had a discussion with Jose? I did. Maybe you did too. What do I think of Regan Grimes, Dragon Trong Lee? What do you think of Regan Grimes? His new coach, he's looking sharp. I'm excited for him top 10. Yeah. I think if he continues to improve, I don't see any reason why Regan can't be top 10. I mean, he was 15th out of 16 at the Olympia this year. So he wasn't that far from top 10. Of course, there were only 16 guys, but I think he's going to be looking much better and placing much better next year in the bigger shows, for sure. In his short and tall class. Hector Mendoza. This is going to be the last question then because I'm getting hungry and I got to cook too. We're out of power. I couldn't cook because I didn't want the food to go bad. So Hector Mendoza, I think Hadi will get punished because he made such an impression at his first Olympia that if Hadi's conditioning falls just a little bit, the judge will punish him. Yeah, a lot of times it seems like guys are judged not exactly on how they look that day compared to other people, but occasionally I do see they're punished for not looking as good as they have before. And the judges, they come to expect more from those people, that's all. I don't think it happens too much anymore. I think that was more common in the past. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It's Thursday, right? Appreciate you guys watching. Again, please like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Appreciate your viewership very, very much. And I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.